Well, hello and welcome to Talking Leeds, episode 15, George, of our little podcast. It's Farke, Scrooge and Gloom for Leeds. First of all, introductions. Good evening, good afternoon and good morning to you, the bearded peacock, Mr. George Brook. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening, Arron. Like you said, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night to anybody watching. Yeah, I'm okay. You know, it is what it is, isn't it? Obviously, Leeds letting us down at the weekend, really frustratingly, but quite predictably, really, in the end. But how are you doing this evening? A week ago since we spoke, we did speak on Wednesday, so there is, obviously, we did win that Luton game. But, how are you doing?
I'm not too bad, thank you. First of all, we need to I'm good. Good evening to Jimbo, a regular. He's with us. And hello, Carl. You're watching back. He's going to miss this live, so he's going to catch up later. But hopefully back to winning ways on Saturday, says Carl. Well, good evening,
Carl. Oh, good morning. Like this is it. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever you're listening to it.
It could be anything. So there you go, Carl. You got a shout out. And again, if you want to listen to this again, you can do via your favourite podcast provider. And you can also listen to me on a matriarch with Jerry McNamee. I'm getting that in quite quickly, George, because you're going to get yours in a second. I'm sure about it with your many podcasts.
Well, that's good. Listen to Arron and Jerry speak about the match. There was another one on. Was it Sunday, Arron, or? Sunday he did it again at the reviewing the Blackburn game. He was there, was he? Of course, I've got, obviously we do this one together on a weekly basis. There is my one with my brother. The Brazilian league is coming to a close. Talking Brazil Ball on YouTube and Spotify. We talk about it on a weekly basis. It is coming to a close now. Also, obviously, my Bearded Peacock podcast as well is throughout the season regularly on YouTube. You might get 2 or 3, maybe even more videos a week from myself.
Well, I'll tell you what, George, having watched your videos, I'm a bit disappointed, if I'm going to say so myself. I'll tell you why I'm disappointed, George, because you don't give us a shout out.
That is true. That is very true.
You never shouted out Talking Leeds.
That is absolutely true.
Yeah.
Well, you're right to be disappointed in me, actually.
To see some promotion of this.
That is fair. So I will be doing a match preview probably tomorrow evening. It'll be going out maybe Thursday, tomorrow, or Friday at some stage for the Derby game on Saturday. Yeah. So I will shout our podcast out on that one, and hopefully maybe a couple of people will. Or even just one, that'll be good enough. We'll go across and check it out if they already haven't done. I know Jimbo comes across to mine as well. Jimbo, it was crazy, wasn't it? The Libertadores 30-second red card. The man, I don't know if you saw it, Arron, but the 30 seconds in, the guy, it's a high boot right into the guy's face, and he gets a red card after 30 seconds. Botafogo, that team did actually go on to win the Libertadores, which is the equivalent to European Champions League. So it's a big deal. They will play, I think, the Champions League winners in the I don't know what the game is actually, but they do play against the Champions League winners at some point. The Club World Cup, isn't it? Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah. So but it was a mad game. Yeah, he did get a red head. He got a real boot to the face. Yeah. There
you go. Well, there you go. George has just given you, if you want to listen more to Brazil Ball, you can do. I will put the link out via X for us for your Brazil Ball. I just expect you to do the same for us.
Well, yes, of course. No, I will be plugging on my podcast, on my videos on YouTube, the Bearded Peacock, of course. So, and anybody wants to go and listen to me or whatever as well, they can do. There are other podcasts as well, I'm sure, but listen to that one. It's good.
Good stuff. Right. Anyway, George, let's get into Leeds because that's what we're here for. Leeds lost at the weekend against Blackburn Rovers, George. It was a disappointing result, wasn't it? 1-0 away from home, 7,000 plus Leeds fans, over a third at Ewood Park. Fans who watched that game were actually from Leeds, which I think is quite phenomenal. George, thoughts on that one then against Blackburn? It wasn't great. It was boring. Nothing really happened. It was just a bad day at the office.
Yeah, look, I mean, as always, there's a big allocation at Blackburn. There always is. Leeds fill it out, 7,000. Great support as always. Of course it is. Always, anywhere we go, we bring a lot. But they'll be so disappointed. It won't be. They'll be lucky. They'll be glad. It want a long trip home, really, I guess, on Saturday. Sort of late afternoon, because it was really, really poor game, mate. It was one of the worst. I mean, I'm just sick of Leeds United going away and losing games like this. Away for at home, I've said it for at home. Yeah, fine, all right. We'll probably beat Derby at the weekend. We should be doing at home, and we probably will. It might be, it'd be a comfortable win, I think. But what's the point in doing that if you can't win away from home? You go to the next one and you lose the game away from home. They just seem to lose the bottle away from home, and it's the same every single time. It's a low block. If the away team score, if the home team score, we're done. Then we're done. We can't come back from that because they'll sit in. Blackburn did the same. Blackburn weren't fantastic. They were just an ordinary team. Arron, I just felt they were ordinary. We were even worse. We were so poor. They couldn't. I just don't understand it.
I do. On paper, we should be beating Blackburn Rovers, but what genuinely now, because there's a common theme here, George, isn't there, with Leeds and what's happening here. You were very, very animated, George, on Saturday. Very animated. Are you still firmly in the Farke out camp now? Because I know you were calling for him to. You've been calling him to go since the beginning of the season. Let's be honest. But do you think Daniel Farke losing his job is the solution here, genuinely, or are you just frustrated? Or what does he need to do to change this up and get results away from home? What needs to happen, George? Because you look at the statistics, you look at the stats, and I know data is a big thing in football these days. You look at the statistics, boom, boom, boom. It's all for Leeds, XG, all that crap. A lot of analytics and pundits look at it all. But what more needs to happen to get this over the line, other than finishing our chances? What needs to happen? What needs to change?
It's changing up the way they're playing away from home, Arron. It's getting that.
So what is the solution here? Because I'm not being funny, but when you're playing so well at home and you're trying to replicate that way, what is the difference between home and away for Leeds United this season, John?
It's because, like I said, Arron, every single team sets up with a low block. They set up defensive and to hit us on a counter-attack. Let's be honest, Blackburn were poor as well on Saturday, but they got the penalty. I thought they were better of the two teams. They had opportunities in the second half to win it, by even more than one goal. So I think it's just like, how do you pick that lock of the defence at home? And it's moving it quicker. It's moving the ball quicker and being more assertive and penetrative with your possession. It really is. It's simple. And Jimbo says, finish your chances. It is very, very simple.
Right. Okay, I understand that. But George, I genuinely have said this from the day the season. Since we started this podcast, you can all watch back. Bearing in mind, I never watch back anything that we put out. I never have. But I am sure on record I have said the concern I have for Leeds United this season is the number 9 position. When Perrault is good, but he's not great. Perrault will do what he needs to do, but when Perrault goes missing, Leeds lose games. When Perrault is not firing, that's when we're struggling. Mateo Joseph is doing it for the under-21s in Spain. Great. However, at this level in the Championship, when you've got to put performance in, not week in, week out, every 3-4 days in that vicious cycle, you've got to be at your A game. I don't think the striking department at Leeds United is as strong as what the statistics are showing us. Yes, Perot's top scorer. Yes, he's more of an impact sub when you look at him and all that sort of stuff. But I genuinely worry where goals come from. That's my biggest worry, and I don't think that's Daniel Farke's fault.
No, it's not. It's not.
And it's not. They're not, and it's not them creating chances either. You know, they have so much of the ball they could create chances, and it's all right saying, "Oh, just finish your chances." But I don't think we've got the quality in that position, George. Genuinely, I've said that from the day when we've started this show. I don't think that the quality is where it should be.
No, and I agree. And like you said, I've been banging on about it as well.
I know, George, but a lot of people say, Joseph started this, that, and the other. But Joseph is a different player to Perot. People say play them together. You can't play them together because you're going to have to drop somebody. Aronson's been useless over the last couple of games, but that's Brendan Aronson.
Yeah. But he's not.
But you can't drop him because there's nobody else to play in that 10th position.
No, I think they will. I think they will recruit in January. I know Farke said he's expecting a quiet one. I think he is. I think we will be doing something. No, he wasn't. He wasn't. It was.
Sorry, Jimbo.
No, it wasn't. But no, I think they will. They will do something in January. He said he wasn't. He was expecting a quiet one. I don't think they will be. I think they'll be looking at things to do. It is for me. It is maybe changing the formation away from home. But it is being quicker with the ball. You watch them on
change it, George. You can't change it because
he very much
works
could.
at home. But
yeah, but
do that. But we haven't got the players. We don't have the quality and depth. On paper, you think, yeah, do you know, we've got all these wingers, we've got this, we've got that, we've got defenders, blah, 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 blah. Midfielders, this, that. But ultimately, those players which are at Daniel Farke's disposal are not good enough. A striker in this division, you should have. I keep going back to Bamford. Why on earth is he not getting a sniff at this team? I have no idea. Because Bamford, for me, what he brings to the table with his press is much better than Perot and Joseph. And I'm not saying that we should be starting Bamford. I'm not saying that. I'm just playing devil's advocate. Yeah, he is finished, but he is. Why? But you've got why? What? You know what? I don't know. We've got a problem, haven't we, George? In the striking department, we don't have a good enough striker on the books.
No, and Bamford. You call him for that. Bamford got time on Saturday for some absolutely extraordinary reason. But you know, and he was awful. And Jimbo says he's finished. He is finished. Bamford is not the answer. Change up the formation. Try something different.
When saying he isn't the answer. No, he isn't. I'm not saying that Bamford is the answer. What I'm trying to say is the solution in that squad isn't there. They need to go and strengthen in January. But I can't say one of them is going to have to go. Joseph, Bamford, or Perot will have to go.
He will. Bamford's going to go, Aaron, and so is Joe.
No bugger will take him.
No, they will, and so
who the hell will take Bamford?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know who's going to take Bamford, but somebody will. And also, Joffrey's going, isn't he, as well? We've heard about Turgeman today, George Turgeman, who's a forward player, isn't he? Playing for Maccabi Tel Aviv, is he? I think he's playing for Maccabi Tel Aviv in Israel. So we've heard about him today.
I don't believe team talk. Listen, I could make a rumor up here right now saying that Leeds are going to sign, I don't know, Jamie Vardy and it'd gain tracks. But I don't know. I just think
I think that has become there are reports in Israel, isn't there, about this man. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's all a bit talk and stuff. But I think, Aaron, that I agree. I think they need to strengthen in January in the striker positions. I think they need to. But in terms of away games, every single away game you're going in, you're thinking, Christ, you know, it's going to be the same game here again. And we see it every single time. The referee on Saturday was absolutely horrific as well, which didn't help anything. But we were bad. We were bad anyway. I think I didn't see the Bamford. I saw the goal, the Bamford, the Ramazani offside goal, but I couldn't really tell whether it was on or offside. But Leeds just it's every single time, Aaron, pass to side to side to side, try and get into the box. Oh no, we've lost possession again, and then they blew it up the pitch straight to us again. It was almost like attack against defence that second half because they weren't that interested in scoring another goal. They would if they got the opportunity, and they probably should have done eventually with Todd Cantwell. He probably should have got another couple, but he can't finish for anything, can he? He can't. Never mind can. He can't. The only reason he scored a goal was it was a penalty. You know what I mean? They were poor as well. They were poor, you know, and they're a poor side. And I'm sick of Leeds United losing away to poor teams like that. You know, and the real test is not Derby on Saturday. It's a week on Saturday away at Preston because we lost that game last season.
Yeah,
and
this is the common thread, isn't it? With this season, is that if Leeds concede first, we genuinely lose the game, and we're
away from home.
Yeah, away from home. Yeah, I think the solution here, what Leeds United need to do, because they have money in the bank, they need to strengthen in two key positions for me, and they need to sign a proven quality ready-made striker, whether that is from abroad or at home. I have no idea. I'm not in the know. And I think they also need to sign number 10, a proper number 10. They need to get somebody over the line, utilize the loan market, you know, go and get somebody who will do the business. And I always look back at Ipswich last season. They signed Doodah from Wimbledon, didn't they?
From Bournemouth. Oh no! Yes.
Right, his name. It's just gone out of my head. They strengthened and got over the line, and I think that's what Leeds United need to do. If we can somehow scrape to the new year and get some quality and not wait until the bloody end of the transfer window, get it done early, get it done as soon because we need players in.
Well, I think we do, and I would agree. And I think
but don't wait till the end of the transfer.
No.
Wait till deadline day.
No, I think 10 and striker would be my two as well. Actually, I think we're okay at the back generally. It's lapsing in concentration. You know that see us concede goals. I mean that penalty, as soft as it was, I thought Tanaka. Now we love him here as well. I thought he was really poor on Saturday, and people don't and seem to forget. Like you cussed him, but he's allowed to have a poor game as well, and he did have a poor game. I felt on Saturday. The penalty concession was really, really lazy as well, and I just thought he was poor. But you know, I mean, that penalty really did frustrate me because it was a really soft penalty. It was a penalty. I thought it probably was. But the referee just could not wait to put his whistle in his mouth and give it. And, you know, and if we'd have had that, I don't think he'd have given it, to be quite honest, either. I think he would have probably said, no, that's not a penalty. Because we did have one similar, I think, down the other end, not that long afterwards. I think it was Willie Nonto got barged into the hoardings and he gave absolutely nothing. So, I don't know. I think away from home, every game seems to be a real slog, and it really shouldn't be. Let's be honest. With the quality on the pitch that we had there over their team, only Tyrese Dolan for me is a good player in their team. That's the only one, and we just let them off the hook. Soft penalty. Your back's against the wall, and you just can't. We just couldn't open them up. And Willie Nonto as well. Come on, at 0-0, you should be putting that 1-on-1 away. You've done the hard bit. You've nicked the ball from the defender. Just go and put it in. I don't know what he was doing.
Yeah. Jimbo says this made me laugh. It's probably his first time in Lancashire. It's a shock for everyone. And Wayne says, we're everyone's cup final, which is right. But
it's true. the lads should expect that, Arron. The boys should expect that, and we have the quality. Remain calm, but be more penetrative and be more quick on the ball. Move the ball quicker so they can't get set. Because we're just like passing the ball like we're 1-0 up. I'm screaming at the telly saying, "Do you know it? Do you know we're 1-0 down here?" They're passing it around like the bloody on the beach, as they say. It's not good enough. For all them people behind that goal, you know what I mean? Playing like they did. And I don't know, I guess that Bamford goal was offside, but it was like they absolutely struggled to get the ball in the net from there anyway. So, I don't know. I mean, that goalkeeper as well, Ainsley Pears, just seems to play up every time he plays Leeds, but that fits into the narrative of weighing that way and saying, it's everybody's cup final, really. But Leeds need to find a way of bridging that and getting over these, because I can see going only one way, Arron, on a week on Saturday, and I think we all can really as well.
So as well with the games which are coming up, you're looking at Preston away. That they're nothing special. Is it Paul Heckingbottom who's there now?
I think Heckingbottom is there.
Yeah, Heckingbottom's back now. Then you think, God, come on, Anyway, George, you were going to lead me nicely into our first feature. It's time for this. It's Tanaka time. George, we don't really like Tanaka at the moment. He's a bit rubbish on Saturday, but we've still got a feature named after him because he's caught our eye. What's caught your eye this week, George?
Yeah, look, I mean, we love him anyway, Tanaka. But I think you are allowed to say when he's had a poor game. I did think he was poor and on Saturday, but he has been named himself. Ayo has been named in the November round for player of the month for the championship. So everybody go and vote for him. I think the poll is happening on X on Twitter. So go and have a look at that and vote for Tanaka, because I think it is based on fan votes. So go and vote for him, and I'm sure he'll win. But in terms of that, in terms of our Tanaka time, what's caught my eye this week, Arron, and I'm sure it's caught yours as well, possibly, is the confusion and the element of confusion to find out that former manager Kevin Blackwell is technical director at Polish First Division side Lechia Gdansk, and also who has been appointed last Saturday as manager is, have a guess who it is, Arron? It's a former assistant and caretaker manager of Leeds United, Englishman.
Think about this thing, right? So a former assistant to Leeds.
He was assistant to Blackwell. Was actually assistant to Blackwell at Leeds for a time, and he was also then caretaker manager when Blackwell left. John Carver has been named manager of Polish First Division side Lechia Gdansk, which is incredibly strange. John Carver had been. John Carver is part of the Scottish setup, and he's been allowed. Lechia Gdansk have reached an agreement with the Scottish FA so that he is able to still be on the bench for Scotland in their next international break in March. But he's going to he's already taken charge of their team, and he's to hold his first press conference tomorrow as the new Lechia Gdansk boss. So yeah, very strange. Kevin Blackwell is there as the technical director. He was caretaker manager for a game, and they did lose over the weekend. The second bottom of the top division, and Kevin Blackwell is randomly there as well. All very strange. But it just came to my attention today. But it also brought into the, obviously it's a very random. Obviously John Carver, Kevin Blackwell did okay. I think he was quite highly rated once. He was an assistant to a few. I think he was assistant to Ed Gray, wasn't he?
Yeah, Blackwell. He was in the first year in the Prem. Well, 03 or 04 when we got relegated. He was there. I think Blackwell in the first season at Leeds, he managed to rebuild a squad. I know in the second season we lost in the playoffs, didn't we, to Watford. I went down to that Cardiff actually. That was an awful game. That was bad. But,
it's terrible.
Now he got sacked. Was it Dennis? No, it wasn't Dennis. Was it?
It
Who
was,
replaced Kevin Blackwell? Who replaced?
It's quite a good question.
Somebody in the comments will probably know that.
No, it was Wise. I think it was Wise.
No, it wasn't Dennis Wise, was it?
I think it was Dennis Wise. Yeah. I think because we had an awful start to the. Obviously, we ended up getting relegated.
Yeah, we must have done.
They sacked him. They sacked Blackwell because we had an awful start. But I think it was Wise because Wise took us down.
Yeah, it was. It took us down.
I'm sure it was Wise. Yeah. But Carver was interim manager for a bit, and we had a horrible run of results. But he was caretaker manager for a short time. So I mean, good luck to them both in Poland. You know what I mean? I mean, how incredibly random to just pick a name.
Wow. I was not expecting that for Tanaka time, Joe.
Because that is his first managerial role. I think bar one in, I don't know where the heck it was.
Kevin Blackwell has been with Colin a lot, hasn't he? He's been with.
He has.
He's been literally everywhere. He's been
Sheffield United, Cardiff.
But where I think with other than Leeds, I think with Colin he was. I don't know if he came back with Colin. I don't know.
I don't think he did.
I don't think he did. No,
but
he's been everywhere with him. Even other than Leeds, but I know he's been everywhere with him.
He was like one of his trusted assistants, wasn't he? And I think he was actually managing. He had a short spell as manager in Thailand. Did Blackwell a couple of years ago, and then I think he took over this director of football role last October. So very strange, but like I said, he took charge of one of their games, and I think they lost.
Just looking, George. Speaking of Kevin, I've just got on Wikipedia. I know it's not the most trustworthy site, but manager has been at Leeds, Luton for a year, Sheffield United, Bury. Remember that? I remember that. And then he's a technical director at Crystal Palace. He was QPR caretaker, Rotherham assistant, Cardiff assistant, Middlesbrough assistant.
So there you go. That's with Warnock, isn't it?
Warnock, and then Nakom Ratchasima.
I think that's Thai. I think that's a Thai team.
Gdansk as the technical. Wow. He's been there for a year according to this, but
that's what I think it was last October that he went there. But I mean, very strange. Obviously now he's probably on his recommendation, isn't it? That obviously John Carver has come in because they've worked closely together in the past as well. He was his assistant at Luton as well when he was the manager. But it got me thinking about. Can anybody name in the comments any more random sort of ex-Leeds players or managers that have ended up in somewhere quite where you wouldn't expect them to? I mean, can anybody name any of them? I don't know, but
I don't know. It's an interesting. Can I give you my Tanaka time because it does have an actual link, believe it or not. It's Ken Bates' 93rd birthday today. Ken Bates.
Ken Bates. I mean, Ken Bates is still going. Is Ken Bates?
Still going is Kenneth Bates.
Wow.
Yeah. Hello. Good evening, Scooby Doo to you.
Good evening to
Ken
Scooby.
Bates is my Tanaka time. Is still going. Is the old fart. And yes, thank you for the East End extension. Yes, Papa Smurf, Scooby Doo too. I don't know. Ken Bates, George, is an interesting character, isn't he? Absolutely hated at Leeds for the right reasons. Have you got anything positive to say about Ken Bates other than thanks for the East End extension, which was paid for by who was it paid for? 8 million quid. Was it paid for by selling somebody? I don't know.
Probably. I mean, Ken Bates. He's just. You can't say anything. You can't say anything positive about Ken Bates, can you? Really poor. You know, he seemed to hate Leeds, but he bought them.
Do you remember the time as well when GFH bought the club? He tried to make himself president or something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
Again, Celino came and said, "No, thank you." Off you go.
It was awful, wasn't it, Kevin? And GFH weren't any better, were they? I mean,
No.
you know, they make 49ers look like gods, don't they? Those lots. So, you know, GFH with David Haig. I know you know him, don't you? Loosely, Arron. You know, and then you've got.
I've invited him on the show, just so you know. He is.
Yeah, it would be very interesting. Would be very interesting to talk to him. To be honest about it all, you know, David Haig. There was Salam Patel as well, wasn't there? He was like the co-owner or something. He was like something to do with GFH with David Haig as well. It was all just a bit of a mess, wasn't it? Really, and
that's why we want him on, and you know, spoken to him. It's to be confirmed, to be seen.
Yeah, I mean, it would be great. It would be very, very interesting to speak to him. I mean, I once spoke to Don Polion, you know, and he was around in that era where GFH and Celino and everybody, and he was so confused. He said when they came into training, everything was switched off. There was nothing. You know, they usually have the lunches. I think they had to bring in their own lunches. They had to wash their own kit. And he was saying it was such a strange atmosphere, basically, you know, all around the club, really. And you can tell why it was such a mess. I mean, Ken Bates was, you know, he was a horrible thing that happened to the
He's
club.
getting some love for Richard is saying that Ken Bates is an asshole.
And Ken Bates, morning, Richard, Richard, but yeah. I mean, yeah, he wasn't good, was he? And Dennis Wise only got the nod for the manager position, I think, because he was some kind of family member to Ken Bates.
Yeah,
was he?
I think Ken Bates was his godfather. I think somebody would probably comment and tell
something like that, wasn't it? I think it was.
Yeah, it was crazy. But, yeah.
I mean, it was. You know, that was the only reason he got the job. To be fair, you know, obviously Dennis Wise took us down, but I think you know, the club was in such a bad place, wasn't it?
That financially, it was in a mess, and he would come out and say, "Oh, it was me who built, you know, the club." I think what Ken Bates' worst thing, what he did is he fell out with the BBC, didn't you? Can you remember when he took the rights from Radio Leeds and proper fell out with them and Yorkshire Radio and sort of, you know, you just think, why? He was just a prick. There's no other word.
I think he had it all wrong. He didn't get the fans. He didn't get anything. He was just all for who was paying the most, basically, for anything. He just didn't care about it.
We were always in court with Ken.
Sure, that's it. He just didn't care about the club. He just didn't care about anything that was to do with the club, really, or the fan base. You know what I mean? I think you've got to really get involved with the fan, because ultimately the fans are the club, really. You know, if you look at it, they pump the money in. They are the club, really, the fan base. So you've got to keep them happy. You've got to be
working with us.
Yeah, exactly. So what would you like? Is the money there for that? Yes. Right. Let's do that. Let's work together. And I think 49ers have seemed to do that in a sense. And I'm quite happy with them in charge. That's what I mean. Yes. It does seem to be a more kind of ear to the ground. What do the fans want? Let's go and do that. And with social media and stuff like this, it's probably a little bit more easier for them to keep a handle on what the fans are thinking. Even with this here, who knows, Arron? You know, the likes of you know, Parag Marath, he might be listening into us talking. You know, you never know, do you? Because they do look at social media. I think they do look at fan channels and stuff like that. So they'll have an idea of what.
If you're listening, DM us at Talking Leeds.
Yeah, let us know, Bragg. That would be great.
Yeah, we are trying to get David Haig on, and I'm sure he will. I know he's busy at the moment, but yeah, we would love to get him on. And I think what I said to him, you know, when I spoke to him, I'd like to get the business side of it, especially around transfer deadlines and how that transfer market works, and just getting an insight not from a fan's perspective, because I know, George, you'll be outside Ellen Road on deadline day again for our deadline day 2025 special. Get that plug in as well. It's interesting just to hear it, and obviously hear his side of the story, because I know, David has had it passed really bad in the past, and I think just hearing his side of the story, I think would be quite interesting to listen to. Anyway,
he got really badly done. Did he go to jail at some stage?
Screwed over,
in a foreign country, wasn't it, as well? So
anyway.
I think. The show during that era would have been quite interesting, but obviously it wasn't.
It would have been mental. Just want to sum up on a couple more Tanaka times, and then we'll wrap it up. It says Ken Bates just cared about his own pockets, and this show could start filling the MasterChef slot. No, we don't comment on that. That was the end of Tanaka time. It always brings up a few gems to discuss, doesn't it, George? But other news this week: Leeds United have been drawn at home in the FA Cup against our former friend of LS11, Ben Parker. Derby is up and running. Harrogate Town at home at Ellen Road, George. It's his first competitive meeting between Harrogate Town. Oh God, I think we play them in a friendly now and then, don't we? But yeah, George, thoughts on the Harrogate Town FA Cup third round draw?
That's right. Then it's the first ever competitive meeting between the two sides, and I know Harrogate. We do play them. I think we have played them in the past in a friendly game, but at Ellen Road, I don't think it's been at Ellen Road. I think immediately at Ellen Road, you think, we'll win that game easy, no issue. I think they're sort of lower end of League Two, aren't they, at the moment?
Yeah, struggling.
They'll be struggling. We'll beat them easy, really. There'll be no contest there. And if there was at Harrogate, it's a tiny little ground that we'd have struggled, I think, but I would have probably still won, but it would have been very tight. I do think that being at Ellen Road, we'll have no worries on whenever it is, January the 11th, isn't it? Or whatever day it falls on.
What's pleasing about it is we've got a lower League Two side. We don't feel threatened by them. That means one thing: they'll come up, rock up, park the bus, and get a 1-0 win.
But this is it, isn't it, Aaron? You know what I mean? They'll be bang up for it. A lot of Harrogate fans will probably be, dare I say, they'll be Leeds fans as well. You know what I mean? It's obviously it's a local derby. It's a nice game to have that. Like you said, obviously, friend of our former place, LS11, and Ben Parker, of course. It would be nice if we've got the contact to get him on as well before that game, to have a chat with him about it all. So I'm sure you've already got that lined up potentially, Aaron. So we can inquire. I don't think it'd be too hard to get Ben on, would it? Really, because we know people that know him. But I would like to. That'd be great to speak to him. And I think he spent a couple of years there, didn't he? Obviously, after he it's a bit of a shame for Ben the way it all went, wasn't it? Injuries and stuff like this, and he could have had a long career at Leeds, I think, without his injuries. But that's just a shame. But Harrogate Harrogate's a nice place, Aaron. We won't be going to Harrogate because it's in Leeds, but it's not a long trip, is it, from Harrogate to Leeds? So, like I said, dare I say, a lot of Harrogate fans might even be Leeds fans themselves.
They probably are. They're a town full of Leeds fans at Harrogate.
Basically, you know what?
Will it be Betty's or Winston's? That's the question.
Well, I know which one I'd rather go to, and I won't say which. You'd have to.
He likes an ice cream tea from Betty's.
You know what I like.
He doesn't want cream at Winston's.
It's well, there could be potentially, but no. I don't know. I don't think. No, I don't even know where Winston's is. To be fair, I think that's somewhere around Leeds, isn't it?
Somebody will comment in the comments and tell George what Winston's is.
Oh no, I don't know exactly what Winston's is. I'm saying I don't know where it is in terms of Leeds. I thought it was more Leeds where it is.
It's Beeston.
Yeah, I thought it was, but gosh, who knows?
No.
They won't have anything of that in Harrogate, will they? Gosh.
No, Jimbo knows where it is as well. George Jimbo's asking, will you put in a technical coach for the Harrogate fans? Yes, we saw that on Twitter. He tweeted that in for us, did Jimbo. Thank you.
Yes, of course. Yes. Is Arron driving, Jimbo? Who's driving? I suppose it'll have to be Arron, to be fair. We'll get fired if I was driving. It's still open, is it, Scooby, right?
Yep.
I don't know.
But
no, I mean, Betty's, isn't it? Betty's, the more high-end place of Harrogate, like you said, have an ice cream tea and go and watch the football, you know what I mean? Take a trip to Leeds and watch the football. It's not far.
They can get on the bus. They don't need. There's the Harrogate bus, isn't there?
There is. It doesn't take long. It doesn't take long at all. I think I've taken that a few times actually. That that bus. It takes about half an hour, doesn't it, from Leeds city centre? So
yeah, it's an easy one. So
it's not far.
Ultimately, though, jokes aside, Harrogate Town at home, we should win them. But do you know what? We should beat them, sorry. But ultimately, am I bothered about the FA Cup? No. Will I actually go to that at Ellen Road? Probably not. I'm not really fussed.
What's the situation with the FA as a season ticket holder?
Well,
what's the situation with? I mean, you wouldn't know. We haven't got an FA Cup game for years at Ellen Road, so apart from a replay last year. But
the cup game, you have to pay for your ticket still. It's just for the league games as your season ticket. But I didn't go to the Middlesbrough game in the Carling Cup.
No.
Do you know what, Jimbo? I don't think it'll be a tenner. If it was a tenner, I'd go myself. I think you're talking approximately 20-25 quid.
Really, that much?
So, yeah. But do you know what? The thing is, though, George, it will sell out. Harrogate will sell out.
Of course it will.
They'll get 10%.
Like I said,
they'll bring 3,000-4,000 fans.
Like I said, Harrogate fans could be a lot of Leeds fans who couldn't get a ticket for the home end, potentially as well, and they wouldn't. They don't mind going in the away end because it's basically Leeds anyway, isn't it? Really. Harrogate's a lovely place, Arron, isn't it? Really, I haven't been that many times actually, but I've been a few times, and it is very nice. Really nice area where the football ground is, isn't it? Really, nice leafy area, nice and quaint. And it's a nice little ground as well. I know a friend of ours, of course, Arron, a friend of the show as well, is Alfie. Alfie goes quite a lot, I think, by the sound of it. So. Yeah, shout to him as well. Yeah. I know he lives now, doesn't he? He's not far away from Harrogate. I know he's in Leeds, but he's not far away. And I think he goes quite often. So
I think we have a fan listening from Israel, George.
Good evening to
Mana Solomon.
Of course.
And that's Israel. It seems like it's Hebrew.
And that's what I said to you guys in there. We're all Israel, aren't we? We're all getting the Israeli players in. And, Mano Solomon, Turgeman, if he comes in, why not? It's and just to you who has commented in, are you listening now from Israel or where are you listening from?
I don't know.
No, I'm just saying. I'm asking.
Looking at the Hebrew.
No, I'm asking them. I'm asking them to comment and tell us whereabouts you are listening from. And is everybody else in the chat? Jimbo and Richard and Scooby. Are you guys listening in Winston's? You do seem to know where it is. So, are you listening? You're listening just before you go in. To whatever.
I don't know. Scooby says, I don't really know Harrogate, but I went a few times not so long ago. The Betty's was dear. I didn't go in. I bobbed into Greg's instead. Maybe it's a cheap stay. Do you know what, Scooby-Doo too? I went into Greg's the other day. It was the Pudsey light switch on. And I went up and I said, sod the bloody the buffet, the burger bands and all that sort of stuff. So I went to Greg's and got myself a nice hot chocolate and a donut. And I thought, do you know what? I saved myself about £8. It's a 5-minute walk from Headingley Stadium. That's where Scooby-Doo 2 is in Headingley. Yeah, George, Harrogate Town in the cup. But George,
Richard, you're in Notts, are you? Nottingham.
Yeah, there you go. Is in Redford Notts. There you go.
Do you know Sleaford? Richard, you know Sleaford. Go on, Arron.
I want to do our next feature, which you like and everybody likes. It's getting a lot of love on Twitter. It's this. Yeah, it's the Leeds United trivia quiz time, where you've got to get 5 out of 5 to be a real Leeds fan. If you don't, you're not. George, I'm going to get you to play. If you want to play along in the comments, you can do, because George is going to cover up his comments section. Please cover it up now, George.
Oh, okay.
You know the rules. You can't cheat and you can't go on Google. There we go. You've just seen it there. Yes, we do support small businesses. Greg's can go do one. But yes, we do support. I do support small business. Anyway, right, George, the poll was between... this is the winning one. The winning category this year is the 2023 to 2024 season. This is the last season, George.
Oh, that should be okay.
It's a nice one for you. So no real headaches for you this
You wouldn't have thought so, but you never know. I'm not doing too well recent times.
Oh, you've been doing
I think last week the Allen Road one. That was a really difficult. That was really difficult, to be fair. But
okay, right, George. Nice and easy this one for you. I've got 5 questions all about Leeds United in the 23-24 season. Here we go. So, question number 1, George. Who was the Leeds United manager during the 23-24 season?
It was Mr. Daniel Farke.
Mr. Daniel Farke is correct. I need to get a bell if you get that. If you get it right. So question 2, what position did Leeds United finish in the Championship last season?
It was 3rd.
It was 3rd. Well done. 2 out of 2 so far. Nice and easy this for you, George. I think you're going to do really well. Question 3, which team defeated Leeds United in the Championship final?
Southampton.
It was Southampton. 3 out of 3. Okay. What was Leeds United's longest winning streak in the Championship during the 23-24 season?
See, this might be the one where I get wrong, possibly.
Let me read you the question again.
Yeah, the longest streak.
The longest
winning streak.
What was the Leeds United's longest winning streak in the Championship last season?
I think...
What number?
Because after Christmas, in the new year, we really started to roll. Maybe it started on New Year's Day against Birmingham, possibly the kind of streak, the longest streak. I'm going to go with 8 wins in a row, was it?
8. Oh, it wasn't. It was just one short. GPT tells me 9.
It was 9.
Wins.
That was
9
really wow. That was really good. To be fair, wasn't it?
Yeah. 9 wins
that now.
Could do. So that was that. So you got 3 out of 4 so far, which isn't too bad. And here's one for you. In Leeds United's 3-0 victory over Millwall in September 2023, which player scored 2 goals in that one?
I think it was Perot, wasn't it?
What is that your final answer?
Well, it was either Perot or Router, but I can't remember which one it was.
Let me read you it again. Leeds United's 3-0 victory over Millwall in September 23. Which player scored 2 goals?
That was at the Den, wasn't it?
It was at the Den.
I know Georgie and Yo Perot got at least 1 each, but
what was it? Come on. I'll give you a clue. He still plays for Leeds.
Yeah, I think it was. I know it's Perot.
Yes, it was.
I knew it was Perot. I knew it was Perot. But when you said your final answer, I thought, hang on, did Georgie get the other one as well? But no, he didn't, because Georgie got the 3rd one, didn't he? And I think that was maybe his first goal of the season, possibly last season. I mean, I don't know how many Georgie got. He didn't get that many, maybe.
No,
really. He was more of an assister, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he probably did get the assist in that game as well. I mean, it was a lovely first goal. I remember it was like a bit of pinball, first touch stuff from Perot to score. I think it might have been the 2nd goal in that game, actually. Obviously, we didn't do so well there this year, did we?
No, we didn't. No, we lost one.
That's what I mean. That's where the away form is just really coming. Is going to come as unstuck, really, isn't it?
Right,
It really
George, I've seen you removed your comments thing there, and that was 4 out of 5 for you. Not bad, but you're not a proper fan this week. There you go.
It's just a bit of guesswork, really. That one.
Guesswork, yeah,
I was close. I thought it was 8. It was around 8, 9, but I just couldn't remember.
No, just a 4 out of 5 is better than 2, which you got last week. So well done,
yeah.
George. And the quiz will be back next week. Keep an eye out on Twitter for the poll ideas. I normally do that about 4 hours before we do that. So if you want to get involved, you can on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. So, George, we play Derby County.
Yeah, get your binoculars out. Of course.
Derby County. We're doing all that sort of stuff.
It'd be the first time we played them since we were promoted, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Just over 4 years ago now. So
yeah.
I don't know what the last time we'd have played them at Ellen Road would have been actually, but I don't know what the score was that season. We'd have obviously played them in that season at home, but I don't know what the score was.
No, but yes, Derby at home, 12:30 kickoff on Saturday, back at Ellen Road. George, Derby, are they going to be a threat to us this time around? I think obviously they've been down in League One. Did they get promoted last season? They did.
Yeah, it was last time. Season. I think they've had, maybe off the top of my head, I think they've had 2 years in League One, possibly.
Yeah. They didn't bounce back at first asking, did they? So, George, Derby at home. Is this going to be a Spygate point 2, or is it going to be a nice, easy win for Leeds United?
Well, Spygate was funny, wasn't it, Aaron? Because we won that game easy, didn't we, on Spygate? Because Derby were kind of up there with us in that season. Obviously, they beat us in the playoff semi, didn't they? So they lost in the final against Villa. So they were up there with us that season. Obviously, Jaden Bogle on loan from Derby, I think, at the time, on loan at Derby. Or maybe he was at Derby. I think he came through at Derby, didn't he? And he was on the pitch that night with his binoculars out after they beat us in the playoff semi-final. So I'm sure he'll remember that. I'm sure he'll remember who did the number 2 in the changing rooms as well. But after the game, we'll beat them easy. Yeah.
Easy win.
Any game, I've said it so many times, and any game at Ellen Road in this division, I'm 100% confident. I'm sitting there relaxed as anything, saying, hey, come on, we're going to win this at a canter, because every single team can't seem to come to Ellen Road and do as much harm. I think Watford had a good go, didn't they, after they had that awful start in that game. But a lot of the teams, they just can't seem to penetrate us at all. And I think it'll go down with the form, but we generally seem to win at Ellen Road this season, 2 or 3-0. I'll probably go with 2-0 to Leeds on.
He's got his prediction in order. If you want to get your predictions in the comments, please do, and we'll give them a shout out before we end the show. George, for me, Derby at home, I see no threat whatsoever. I'm expecting Leeds to absolutely, given the defeat against Blackburn last time out, they need to bounce back. And I think going into this kind of into this part of the season, we need to now get on a good run. We need to be winning 9 on the bounce over Christmas and really kicking up with our league now. But Derby, we should be beating Derby at home. I see no threat whatsoever. They will park the bus. They will put 10 men behind the ball, all that jazz. But we should have a lot better quality to get over the line with this one. I'm expecting Leeds to win 4-0. That's the minimum for me.
Yeah, but it never happens, does it? That, but I think
it doesn't. But we could easily do it.
Of course, they could. Yeah, and I think you're right. It's at Ellen Road. Like I said, I'm so relaxed with the home games because it's actually quite nice to watch Leeds because they're so in control, and you feel like we are actually going to penetrate them and punish them and score goals, or at least 1 or 2. So, and we'd never really looked so under threat. I mean, that Luton game was ridiculous, Aaron. They were so bad. and they just didn't even threaten at all, really, other than that Moses chance, which I think was done out of a little lapse of concentration, really, which can happen. But I do think Derby, they're closer to the relegation zone than they are anywhere else. I think they will probably stay up, but I think it will be close. They've probably got quality to beat the teams around them, but they've not got quality to mess with the Leeds United at the top, really, I don't think. And we'll beat them comfortably. And I think a lot of people take a lot of pleasure in beating them, won't they, obviously, as well. With that Spygate and all that playoff final, a few years ago now, obviously, still fresh, really, in the minds of the people involved when Derby come to town. It might have been Frank that did it. I don't know. He seemed quite fired up, didn't he? It was a strange one, wasn't it, that night? Yeah. It really was.
Derby are 15th in the league.
Again. 20 points. I think the 5 points above the relegation.
They're going to be mid-table, aren't they? Let's be
honest. They are mid-lower table, I think, probably about where they are now.
Yeah, which is fine, given they got promoted from League One last season.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, they'll be up for it. Obviously, everybody is when they come into Ellen Road. But I always feel like watching Leeds at Ellen Road, and like I say, it's a completely different team to away from home. But it's always like I'm just so relaxed. And I'm never really that relaxed watching Leeds. But at Ellen Road, it just seems so... obviously, against the top end teams, it's a little bit different, but we always seem to manage to get over the line. I just think against these teams like Luton last week, Derby, they just can't touch us, And like Scooby says, it wasn't fun to watch, but when was the last time you saw Leeds cruise? Exactly, that was what it was. It was like, we don't need to score any more goals. I know they did at the end with Bogle to James, and it was a lovely finish. But they were just in control of the ball. Even when Luton got the ball, you just felt so comfortable that Leeds were going to win it back and then create a chance. And that's just what it is like at Ellen Road. We just need to replicate it away from home. We really do, because it's going to cost them in the end. And it's going to cost Daniel his job in the end, really.
Couple of predictions in for the game at the weekend. Richard says 3-0 against Derby. Jimbo's gone for a controversial one here. 1-1. A draw, Jimbo, against Derby. I don't know what you're thinking there, pal. I don't know. It's a bit of a tough one there. But speaking of Saturday, if you want a match reaction, you can get one on Sunday afternoon. With me and Jerry, we'll be reviewing the Derby game against from Saturday. So if you want to keep your eyes out for that, you can do, or you can listen again. George, you going for what's your prediction again?
I think we're going to go 2-0. It's if you look at the home game, it's usually 2 or 3-0, isn't it? But I think I'll go 2-0. I think we'll obviously be in complete control probably from the first minute. It'll be just a matter. It just seems always a matter of time before we score, and then they just deflate even more, and then it just becomes a point where we're just going to take the piss now and just keep the ball, even if we're not going to score a goal, and almost just score at will. It was like that last week. I imagine it'll be like that again on Saturday. Like I said, the away form is the one that I want and everybody wants to see rectified. All right, win the game against Derby, get the 3 points. The real test for me is, can we just go and win an away game, please? And not one where it's to and fro, like the one at Swansea. Just go and win. Show what you're about and be comfortable away from home.
Yeah, good stuff. Right, George, let's hope that Leeds United bring back from Ellen Road the 3 points at the weekend, and you'll get me and Jerry reviewing that afterwards. George, do you want to give your quick shout out before we wrap things up?
Yeah, so of course we got the Talking Brazil ball we talked about at the top. You can hear myself and my brother James on YouTube and Spotify talk about Brazilian football. It's coming to a close now. The final game, the final games have been played. There's some tonight. The final weekend is on the weekend. It's the final day. There's lots to sort out, relegation and championship winning. Who's going to win? Also, My Bearded Peacock page where YouTube, go and subscribe, listen, and all sorts if you want to. And then also on the Instagram account, I'm doing like an advent calendar this week. So, well, on the month of December, because it's Christmas, so we're doing an advent calendar, and I'm letting the people decide who they want to see on the advent calendar. So at the moment, I think today we had Billy Bremner. Tomorrow, I think you've got the choice of Pascal Strouk, Ben White, I think I put in there, Lucas Radaby, and I think Rui Marquez was the other one. So have a little look at the Instagram account and vote for your man you want to see on the advent calendar for the next day. And that's happening all the way up till Christmas, obviously. Day 25, and then we'll finish it. So yeah.
There you go. I even give you the main show that I give you the full screen effect there, George. So
wow, I mean that was interesting, wasn't it? Nobody could see that for listening back on various different podcast providers, but it was a nice sentiment.
Right then, cheers, George. We'll see you same time next week for episode 16 of this, and we're going strong, and we'll see you guys on the next one. See you later.
See you later on, everybody. Marching